Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Essay. Today we are gonna see what if Issei was as the Red and White Dragon Emperor. Part 3. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Issei was in the living room watching TV and what he was watching. It's Power Rangers, and that time Issei heard that artificial sacred gear can be made and he suddenly had a bright idea, why not make one himself, specifically a morpher from the show Power Rangers. Has anyone seen Ice-kun? Asked Kurumi to the servants. If I remember, he was on the basement. Kurumi-sama. What is he doing there? He just said it was important. I guess he doesn't want to be disturbed. After a few hours, Issei finally finished his morpher and wanted it to show to Office. Issei found Office under the tree in the garden. Office-chan, I made an artificial sacred gear. What's the name of the artificial sacred gear? Ice-koi. I don't really have a name for it, but I base it on the show that I watched because I found it cool, want to see it. Okay, said Office, and the other girls goes towards them. Hello Ice-kun and Office-chan, what are you guys doing? Said by the girls. Ice-koi here is testing artificial sacred gear. What? Wow. Can we see it? Of course, watch me. Said with a smile. He stand up and grab his morpher from his belt. Is that what I think is it's? Said by Volley. Oh, Val-chan knows about it. Yes. It's a morpher from Power Rangers, correct? Correct, now let me show it. He shouted SPD emergency. While he was transforming, his body was covered until he says SPD Shadow Ranger. The helmet appears and covers his entire head, and thus the transformation is complete. And he started to roll call Space Patrol Delta. Defenders of Earth. The girls' eyes were literally shining and said, wow, Ice-kun is so cool. Said by the girls. Thanks guys, I really worked hard for it to work, said proudly, and he said power down and the suit he was wearing suddenly disappeared. It's really well made, Ice-koi, I'm proud of you. Thank you, Office-chan said while laughing. Congrats on completing the morpher, Ice-kun said by the girls in unison. Thank you guys, as he smiled to them. Issei is on the way on Yusaka to meet the two girls formally. Oh, you're here, Ice-kun, girls come here, said Yusaka. Yes, I want you two to meet Issei Hyoudou, said Yusaka while pointing towards Issei. And Issei met Lefei and Kuroka. Introduced Yusaka while pointing towards both of the girls. Hey there, I'm Issei Hyoudou. Issei simply introduced himself. Hello Issei-san, I'm Lefei Pendragon. Lefei said shyly. Hello, my name is Kuroka, let's get along, Naya. Well, girls, I called you both here to talk about your future, Yusaka said with a serious face. Our future? Asked Kuroka curiously. Lefei just stared at her. Yes. You see, both of you are moving into Issei's house, Yusaka said to both girls. Yeah, but why? Asked Kuroka and Lefei in unison, who scratched their heads. Issei just stared at Yusaka about what she was trying to do and about to ask, but Yusaka noticed his facial expressions and continued, ignoring the girl's question. Don't worry, Ice-chan, I already got your grandparents' permission, so you don't have to worry about it. And then looked towards both of the girls while maintaining a serious face. Okay then, we'll treat you like a family member, and I'm sure Ka-chan and Tao-chan are going to treat you like their own daughter, just like Rumi-chan and Val-chan. Declared Issei. Lefei's eyes widened exponentially as she looked up at Issei, tears slowly swelling in her eyes as she dropped the bag she was carrying in shock. Her hand slowly came up to cover her mouth as she couldn't believe what was happening to her right now. Because of her time in the Pendragon household, they didn't treat them as a family member, but as a tool for their country. She was overwhelmed with emotion. Issei stepped forward and placed a hand on one of her shoulders, making her watery eyes look up as she saw compassion, understanding and love. And the silent message that he would never leave her alone, no matter how impossible it may seem. She thanked whoever that was above for letting her stumble upon having a real family that will care for her in the first place, and for that she was forever grateful. She embraces Issei in a tight hug. But before she could say anything, Kuroka spoke. But before that, Yusaka-sama told me that you can help me find someone. Can you tell me who that person is? It's my sister, her name is Shirin. I left her there because I don't want her to be a criminal and to be chased, said Kuroka, and gave the journal to Issei. What's this, Kuroka? It's the journal my old master used. He wrote down on what he does to his experiments, said Kuroka with a sad tone. Issei took a peek at the journal and it was not pleasant, so he decided to put it in his pocket dimension. And patted the head of Kuroka and said. Don't worry, I'll help you find your sister so the two of you can be reunite. Thank you Issei-sama, Kuroka said as she cried, and Issei hugged her while patting her head. And please don't use Sama from now, Kuroka-chan, Issei said with a smile. Yusaka saw this and couldn't help but smile and spoke. Aren't you a charmer, Issei? Teased Yusaka, making Issei and Kuroka blushed while Yusaka just giggled. So what is your decision? Kuroka. Said Yusaka. "I will," stated Kuroka, who still has pink blush in her face, making both Issei and Lefei smile, who still was clinging to his right arm like a vice. "I don't want to let him go for fear he would run off or disappear if she let go." Issei understood what's in her mind and said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to disappear." That lessened Lefei's worries and she let him go from her embrace. Yusaka just smiles and giggles at their interaction. Both girls left to pack their stuff, leaving Yusaka and Issei alone. "They know about joining my peerage?" asked Issei curiously. "Yes, I told them yesterday, but I also told them only if you refuse not to bother you any longer, and they agreed to," said Yudaka with a serious tone. "That's why they are moving in," exclaimed Issei. "Yes, you'll get a chance to spend more time with them. So. You both are lucky, getting a chance to live with my Ice-kun," said Kunu, looking at both girls who were busy packing their stuff. "You are telling us like he is some sort of hero." "Kunu-sama," said Kuroka curiously as Kunu never complimented someone, let alone a boy. "Yes. He is," said Kunu immediately, while remembering how he saved her. "Really, Kunu-sama?" asked Lefei when she heard Kunu. "How so?" asked Kuroka, who didn't know why she wanted to know. She just wanted to know. "Yes, remember I told you I was attacked by some devils?" Both of them nodded. "Well, he was the one who saved me from those disgusting people." Both Lefei and Kuroka eyes widened at what they just heard. The boy they just met was the one who saved Kunu, as she mentioned the devils that attacked her were strong. After that incident, Kunu started to show deep hatred towards the devil. It didn't help as she heard about Valen incident, but that didn't mean she hates Vali. No, she didn't hate the girl that became one of her best friends, but she hated Vali's family for treating her like that. Birai only get a chance to sleep over at his house 5 to 6 times in a month, while Fis-chan, Rumi-chan, Tia-chan can sleep with him every night. Heck, Val-chan is even now sleeping in his bed. I'm the only one who left out, muttered Kunu. Enough to be heard by both girls. "Sleep with him?" started Lefei. "In the same bed, Naya," finished Kuroka. Both of the girls were now blushing red. He is so warm," said Kunu, still in her thoughts. "That's it." Lefei couldn't take it and fainted. Kuroka immediately rushed to her and caught her before she fell. "Lefei, wake up. Wake up. Damn it. Look, Kunu-sama, what you did," Naya, Kuroka said, still blushing on her face. When Kunu came out from her dream, she found Lefei on bed while Kuroka was shaking her. "What happened? Kuroka-chan?" Kunu asked innocently. Kuroka just looked at her for a minute, then replied, "Nothing, Kunu-sama, we aren't supposed to hear about your boyfriend body being warm when you slept with him." Kunu realized what she told them and blushed heavily. "Art and Hyoudou resident. So you are Lefei and Kuroka, Yusaka-san told us about," asked Max while looking at both girls. "Yes, Hitomi-sama," said Lefei with a bow. Hitomi just giggled and said, "You don't have to be so formal, sweetie." While patting Lefei's head. Kuroka was just staring at them. Seeing Kuroka, Max spoke, "Can you?" "I'm Kuroka, please take care of me," said Kuroka with a bow. Hitomi was shocked at her voice since she already knew about her past and didn't expect her to behave normal, kind and polite. Issei smiled, which didn't go unnoticed by Max as he spoke, "You're doing," while looking at him. That caught Hitomi's attention too. "I'll leave it to your imagination." Suddenly a giant ball of fire came towards Issei. Lefei saw this and tackled Issei down, but she wasn't the only one who pulled him, resulting in the trio falling on the ground, Lefei on the top of him. Well, the giant fireball hit the near couch and totally burned it. But surprisingly, Lefei wasn't the only one who pulled Issei, Kuroka too. Both of them are too close, making the situation awkward. Issei noticed her eyes glowing red. Kuroka didn't know what it was. But she can feel some sort of attraction towards the boy. She didn't know why she acted this way. Hitomi immediately used her sacred gear and froze the remaining couch. "Ice-chan, Lefei-chan, Kuroka-chan, you guys are alright?" asked Hitomi in a worried tone. Suddenly 3 figures arrived there. That happened to be Office, Tiamat and Kurumi. Vali wasn't at home at the moment, she was currently training with Amaterasu very hard. Not just for her, but for her family too. Kurumi's words motivated her on another level. She too wants to protect her family, especially Issei, the one who is the sole reason why she is feeling this way. Issei didn't just save her, he gave her a family too. And joining his peerage is the best thing she ever did in her life. Kurumi saw Issei was on the ground, lying. And spoke, "What happened?" And sorry about the couch. The barrier just broke, and why was Issei on the ground? "Well, dear, your fireball is just about to hit Ice-chan, but thanks to Lefei-chan and Kuroka-chan, he was saved," said Hitomi. Kurumi froze. She was about to hit her precious Ice-kun. Oh my god, what will Ice-kun think about her? What if he hates her for that? What if the fireball really hit him? That thought ran through Kurumi's mind. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ice-kun, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it. You know, I can't hurt you even in my dream, Ice-kun. Please don't hate me, I rather hurt mice. Before she could finish she was pulled into a tight hug by Issei. SSSSSHHHHH Rumi-chan, I know you didn't do that on purpose. And there's no way I'm going to hate my cute queen. Thank you, Ice-kun, said Kurumi, hugging tighter while blushing at his remark of my cute queen. Who are those both girls? Asked Office, she wanted to know who tried to save her mate. She knew that type of attack is nothing for her mate, but someone tried to save him without thinking twice. Let me introduce Lafay-chan and Kuroka-chan, meet Office-chan, Tiamat-chan or Tia-chan and Kurumi-chan or Rumi-chan, while pointing to Office, Tiamat and Kurumi respectively when he mentioned their names. And everyone meet Lafay and Kuroka, both going to join our family, said Issei while pointing towards them. Kurumi just bowed to them and said thanks for saving my Ice-kun from my fire. It's nothing, Kurumi-san, and don't have to bow to me, said Lafay. Max and Hitomi both smiled when they heard Lafay. It's no big deal, Anaya, said Kuroka. Currently, Hitomi was introducing both Lafay and Kuroka to Issei's parents at the dinner table. I didn't know you were a kendo champion, Mom, said Tatsuya when he was told his own mother was once a kendo champion. You bet I am, Hitomi said childishly. It's awkward for them to see her behave like that, but when she is overexcited she behaves like a child. And who is the adorable blonde hair girl and cute black hair girl? Asked Miyuki while looking at Lafay, who has a nervous face. Hitomi saw this and she has a perfect story. Also the story will make them close to Miyuki too. The shyly adorable blonde's name is Lafay and cutie raven name's Kuroka. Both of them were orphans before I adopted both of them today. Said Hitomi. Aren't our family getting bigger and bigger after we moved in here? Joked Tatsuya. Yeah, but isn't that what we always want? A big family? Replied Max. Tatsuya grinned and spoke. But I think Issei is already making a harem for himself for the future. Before Tatsuya could finish his sentence, he was smacked in the head by Miyuki, of course. Lafay and Kuroka just stared at him at what he was talking about his son. While Issei choked the food he was eating. Hitomi decided to drop a tiny bomb that will surely help both of the girls to bond with Issei's parents anyway. Another reason is both of them saved Issei's life today, so before she could complete her sentence, a yell can be heard in the entire mansion. Oh, so what exactly happened to Issei-kun? Miyuki said with a serious tone and glared to her son. Issei met his mother's eyes and started to sweat because of the pressure his mother was giving. It's just some accident. No one is at fault, Mom, Issei said, still sweating, and thought to himself, even if I'm a dragon god, Mom is still scary as ever. So did you get hurt? Tell Mom every single detail right now, said Miyuki with a cold and serious tone. Even if his son is strong, his parents are still gonna worry about him. That is how much Issei's parents love him. It took 5 minutes to explain every detail to his parents. Thank you for saving my son, said Miyuki as she patted Kuroka's head. Before Kuroka said something, Lafay spoke. I helped too, Lafay said shyly as she didn't want to be left out. Thank you, Lafay said Miyuki as she patted her head too. I must thank both of you for saving my son. Let me know if you both need anything, said Tatsuya with a smile. Even though Tatsuya and Miyuki knew that Kinda Flame wouldn't hurt their son, but decided to put an act together for the two new girls. Actually, one thing, Tatsuya-kun, I promised Kuroka-chan and Lafay-chan that you and Miyuki-chan can give them, said Hitomi, while hoping they'll say yes when she asks them. What is it, mother? Tell us, said Miyuki, and Tatsuya nodded. Well, both of them are orphans. The other one parent treats her like a tool and the other one loses everything. That's why I adopt them, but I can't give them a patently love. Can I? So I want you both to treat them as your own daughters, said Hitomi, shocking Tatsuya and Miyuki. Tatsuya and Miyuki looked at each other and then smiled. And looked at Lafay, who was watching them with a nervous face. We'll love to have Lafay and Kuroka as our daughters, said Hitomi, looking at Lafay and Kuroka and hugging them both. Now, don't get carried away. We must talk about Issei's punishment, said Tatsuya. Hitomi and Max just sweat dropped. Issei paled. While Tiamat giggled. Volley, Lafay and Kuroka have confused faces. But Kurumi looked towards Issei. Issei, simply to say you are grounded for a week, said Miyuki. But Mom? How about summer camp? Issei asked nervously. You are grounded, right? So no summer camp for you, Miyuki said in a serious tone. Max looked at his wife how childish her idea was and caused cancelling the summer camp for their grandson. And he has a thought now, if Issei isn't going then no one will go. It doesn't matter how much they want to go there. Since Office isn't going to leave Issei, Office prefers spending more time with Issei above all. Tiamat has the same reason as Office. Bali won't leave them, and as for Kurumi, she'll do anything for Issei. Let's not do this, they are quite excited about it, said Max. Hitomi nodded. It's only for Issei actually and the rest can go, said Miyuki, even though she doesn't like the idea. But wondering why her father-in-law said she knew that all children are pretty close to each other, but they aren't going to cancel the whole summer camp. Can they? Only if she knows. Hitomi cursed herself knowing how much deeply Miyuki care and love Issei, and they won't let it slide without punishing him, so he won't do something like that again, but more importantly Issei couldn't go summer camp this year. The very same thing that made Issei excited when she told him about summer camp, and because of her ridiculous idea of getting Lefei and Kuroka get along with Miyuki and Tatsuya, easily caused a family issue, and if doesn't solve easily, it is going to make big situation. Even if she knew Issei isn't going, then it's the same with the others. She did know that Miyuki would be mad at Issei, but never thought of punishment, let alone prohibit him from going to summer camp. So she decided to interfere. I agree with all the punishment, but stopping him from going to summer camp inside, she doesn't like what she just said about agreeing about punishment, and if only she knew this idea would backfire, she would just find another way, but now everything ruined. We know Ka-san, but what Issei did was completely reckless, and we aren't going to change our decisions, said Miyuki. That was the final hit. Kurumi just couldn't take it and suddenly stand up and spoke. It's my fault, so punish me instead of him. He did nothing, it was all my fault and stupidity, stated Kurumi, still lowering her head. Miyuki just looked at her and saw how much her face was full of sadness, regrets and shame. Vali has no clue what was going on, so she decided that she'll ask them later. Miyuki just looked towards her, and Hitomi decided to ask what she meant. What do you mean? Kurumi-chan. I was responsible for that incident, which didn't happen at all, stated Kurumi. Issei didn't like what she was saying. Yes, it was her fireball, but that didn't mean he would let her go to face the punishment alone, and spoke. She is just saying so I can go to summer camp, mom. She has nothing to do with this, Issei said immediately, much to everyone's shock. That statement made Max proud that his grandson willingly protects what is precious to him without giving a single thought, but frowned at Hitomi's idea. Tiamat and Vali giggled mentally at the overprotective nature of Issei about them. They knew Issei doesn't show favoritism to them, and if he stands for Kurumi, he'll stand for all of them too. Lefei and Kuroka now have some idea of what incident they are talking about. But both of them have shocked faces when they hear Issei standing for Kurumi. Now I can understand why you fell for him, Kunu-sama, thought both Lefei and Kuroka. The office just looked at him with a smile on her face. She knew her mate was caring. Hitomi is now at the point, didn't know what she'll do next, so things go how it's supposed to be. Kurumi just stared at him and then smiled when she understood he was just protecting her from the same punishment. That's how her precious Ice-kun is. But she isn't going to let him take all the punishment, and said, "No. Aunt, it's my fault. And you both share the same punishment for a week, along with the forbidding of going to summer camp. The rest can go to summer camp and you both can do whatever, but we aren't taking you anywhere," said Miyuki while looking towards both of them. Her heart just broke after seeing her son and her niece's face. She didn't want to separate the children, but what she could do, so Issei will be careful next time. Better be safe than sorry. She didn't want to prohibit them from going to summer camp, after all she was the one who suggested it in the first place, but she can't let them slide it without punishment. Issei just left the dining room without finishing his plate. Max and Hitomi didn't like the things that just happened. It's supposed to be just a prank. And this is the first time Issei left the dining table, but when Tatsuya, Miyuki, Lefei and Kuroka noticed the plate, they found that he didn't touch his plate. Their mood suddenly became regretful. After all, today's food was all Issei's favorite. And he left without eating. I should say no to Hitomi when she suggested that idea. Well, the deed has already been done, thought Max with a sad face. I just ruined everything. I didn't know that Miyuki will punish him. Hitomi cursed herself and looked where he was sit before his plate and frowned, and my poor grandson didn't eat anything and it was all his favorite. I don't even like the idea, but, thought Hitomi. My Issei isn't going to summer camp and have some type of restrictions on him. Who cares? He will do whatever he wants, and I'll make sure of it. No one will stop him doing anything he wants, even the entire world against him. I'll stand by his side, no matter what the situation is, as thought office while Tiamat having the same thought. Too much thinking similarity about their mate, between a dragon king and a dragon god. What the hell just happened? And if my ice koi isn't going, then I'm not going to, thought Vali. No, this isn't going to be this way. My ice-kun was just punished for my stupidity. And he tried to save me from the punishment even when I interfered. I'll make it up for him, but how? Kurumi though. Her stupid idea completely backfired, but when she saw her leaving without even touching her food, she just lose her appetite. She can't even think that Issei and Kurumi went to bed without eating. Breaking the awkward silence, Miyuki asked, how about going out shopping tomorrow? Lefei-chan and Kuroka-chan. It's my first time going shopping with anyone, because in my old house we already have clothes and no need to go out and shop, said Lefei. It's fine, Lefei-chan, how about you Kuroka-chan? I'd like it if it isn't any problem for you, said Kuroka. Of course. It isn't any problem. I think Office-chan, Tia-chan and Val-chan tag along too, said Miyuki. Tetsuya didn't like the idea of leaving Issei and Kurumi, but what can he say, his wife already decided to punish the two and she isn't gonna budge unless there's a valid reason. Issei just entered his room. He switched off all the lights in his room and went to bed. What did I do to deserve this? And mom is really scary too, mentally cursed Issei. There's no one's fault, partner. Draig's right, kid, so no need to feel down, you're not alone. Thanks Ddraig, Albion, Issei chuckle. You know you can do whatever you want to say. Uncle Red. You're here too. Yeah, anyway my nephew, you know how to make dragon clones. What is a dragon clone, Uncle Red? As stated by the name, the user makes a dragon clone of themselves. These clones have a fraction of the user's overall power, but are useful for attacks and other diversions. As expected, they are capable of bleeding and are quite durable and an excellent decoy. Do you understand? So I can go anywhere while leaving a clone? Yes, you can. That'll be awesome. Now take a nap, partner, so we could drag you in your mindscape so we can train you. Yeah, kid, and I'm gonna teach you a sword skill called Starburst Stream, it's perfect to your dual wielding. Alright then. Kurumi was standing outside of Issei's room. She didn't know how Issei would react. She opened his door and found there was only darkness. All lights were switched off. She used her little flame to see around. She found Issei on the bed lying asleep. She soon joined him, laying close to him, before covering them with a warm blanket. While gently breathing, Kurumi's arms wrapped around Issei's shoulders, effectively bringing his face into her breast, squeezing his face. Smiling dumbly, Issei just went with the soft heartbeat of Kurumi, gently lulling him to sleep. Soon Office, Tiamat and Vali joined them. It became a daily routine for them. It wasn't like they didn't have their own, but still they loved to sleep in his room. Dreamworld. Starburst Stream. After Issei performed the skill, Albion said. Well done, you already mastered the technique, kid. Hey Ice, do you want to accelerate your training? Accelerate, you say? But how? I just can't train 24/7, I have other things to do. I know, but what if it happens when someone does it for you? Someone do it for me? Why would someone do that for me, and if someone else does the training it will help him or her, not me, said a very confused Issei. It's called multiple shadow clones. Shadow clone require less dragonic magic than a dragon clone. That's forbidden, you know. Yeah, but I think he's fine if he only uses it on his dreamscape. Forbidden? Is it dangerous or something? Why is it forbidden anyway? Not for those who have high dragonic magic reverses and magic. So low magic reverse person can't do it. Huh. But aren't I a dragon god? Haha, that's right. I almost forgot that I'm not a normal dragon anymore, Issei chuckled. Well Issei, it's called multiple shadow clone. This technique creates copies of the user, however, these clones are corporeal instead of illusions. The user's chakra is evenly distributed among every clone, giving each clone an equal fraction of the user's overall power. The clones are capable of performing techniques, including the shadow clone technique itself, on their own and can even bleed, but will usually disperse after being hit by a strong enough force. The clones can also disperse on their own or be dispelled by the user of the technique. But when dispelled, it transferred its memory as well as experience to the original, so if I create more, the more they will learn, and when it disperses, it automatically transformed all things they learned to me. Correct. So ready to boost your training? Let's do it. Human world. Everyone is having breakfast together as part of their morning routine, but today's atmosphere is a little bit tense. Because in the breakfast table Issei, Kurumi, Office, Tiamat and Vali are not there. Their thoughts were different at the moment. They all missed breakfast. Not a coincidence, things will get worse, thought Max with a sad face. They didn't even have dinner yesterday, and now breakfast, thought Hitomi with a face of full regret. Where are they? They don't miss breakfast, thought Miyuki. Looks like they overslept. Or maybe about what happened last night, thought Tetsuya looking around. Looks like Issei overslept, said Max with a sigh, breaking the tense moment. Hitomi couldn't take it and spoke while looking towards a household servant. James, go check on Issei and rest. If they are already awake then bring them here. James nodded and left. But they missed breakfast and they didn't eat dinner yesterday, stated Hitomi. Miyuki's eyes blinked before they widened when they heard last comment. What do you mean, Mom? They didn't eat dinner? Asked Miyuki, silently praying that she misheard. There will be no way Issei missed his dinner when it was his favorite, how wrong she was. Tetsuya nodded as he wanted the answer as well. You didn't notice? None of them had dinner yesterday, including Issei, of course their plates were untouched. Explained Max. Miyuki and Tetsuya thought that they misheard, but when Max confirmed it, what they heard was true. Their faces became ghostly pale. Were we a little hard on him? asked Miyuki, hoping that wasn't the only reason. To put it simply, there was no one fault there. I was there when it happened. Max replied sternly. Miyuki and Tetsuya blinked before looking at each other. Miyuki spoke. So we punished him for the first time in his life and he has nothing to do with it. Miyuki recalled the sad face of Issei yesterday. She understood the impact she had on him. Before she could say anything, James entered the room. James, where are they? Asked Tetsuya immediately as he saw James entering the room. Tetsuya-sama, they are still asleep, said James. Tetsuya nodded while Max just sighed. Miyuki still can't believe that she punished her little baby boy without any reason and frowned. She frowned deeper when she recalled yesterday's event. We have to talk to him and tell him he is ungrounded and can go to summer camp, stated Tetsuya with a happy face. How about you take all of them for shopping? Suggested Max. I'm going to then, said Luna immediately, not wasting any chance to make up with her little grandson. Since she's the one who brought up the little incident. The pair of green eyes opened in response to the sunlight filtering into the large room. The boy groaned. He felt two warm breaths tickle his chest and smiled at the now common sight of the mop of blonde hair and black hair that belonged to Kurumi in office. He looked at the clock and found it was already 8:30. He oversleeps when there's something that annoys him. Breakfast at 8 a.m. looks like I missed my breakfast too. Thought Issei when his stomach growled, and it didn't help as he didn't eat anything last night. He stroked their hair gently as he recalled what had happened yesterday and frowned. He checked his surroundings and found Tiamat and Vali were gone. Vali liked to do morning training. As for Tiamat, he heard his bathroom shower is on and he has plenty of idea where she is and he confirmed it by his dragonic sense. Issei was cut off from his thoughts when he heard Kurumi and Office mutter, indicating that they were finally starting to wake up. He couldn't help but chuckle as it was widely known in the household that Kurumi wasn't much of a morning person and as for Office, she didn't care about morning. Kurumi opened her eyes in the morning, looking around the room sleepily before giving a warm smile to him. Office gives a warm smile to her husband-mate, snuggling deeper into his chest. Good morning sleepyheads, Issei chuckled and both Kurumi and Office blushed. Good morning my Ice-kun, Ice-koi said by both girls. How are you feeling Ice-kun? Kurumi asked. Tired. And kind of hungry, Issei stated. We missed breakfast too, not to mention we didn't have dinner yesterday, Office said calmly, still snuggling in his chest. I think only I missed, don't tell me, said Issei, not liking the idea that they didn't eat too. It's my foul. Before Kurumi completed her sentence, Issei brought her in a tight embrace and spoke. It has nothing to do with you, my cute queen, and don't forget it, given we are grounded and restricted to go summer camp, but we can still have fun at home, right Office Heim? My husband speaks the truth, Rumi-chan, I was there too, so just forget it, and how about a bath together then breakfast? Replied Office. Suddenly the bathroom door opened and revealed Tiamat, who wore nothing but just a towel. Issei blushed deeply seeing that. While Office and Kurumi narrowed their eyes. Seeing Issei's face, Tiamat smirked. Like what you see. Ice-kun. Said Tiamat in a very seductive tone, making a seductive pose too. Issei blushed heavily and thought to himself it's still daytime Tia, but before Tiamat teased him more Kurumi spoke. Cut it Tia-chan, this isn't the time. Yes, Rumi-chan is correct, Office stated, who is now sitting on Issei's lap. I already have a plan. But first go take a bath you all. Said Tiamat. Suddenly someone opens the door and enters the room. Issei looked at the person who entered his room and spoke with a smile. Good morning Val-chan. Vali smiled and leaned towards him and gave a peck on his cheek and said morning Ice-kun, Rumi-chan, Office-chan, you guys finally awake huh? Yeah. We're going to take a bath together. Wanna join? Asked Kurumi. Of course I'll join, and Office-chan, did you cancel the registration for summer camp? Asked Vali. Cancel the registration? Oh yes, I already cancelled it last night, simply Office stated. Issei looked at her with a look of disbelief and said, why did you do that? Don't you want to go there? Office just looked at him and said, I only want to go there because you were going. She is telling the truth, Issei, we all agreed to go there because you were going. Said Tiamat. You mean you all are, Issei, but was cut off. Not going, finished Vali. And that's right, we already cancelled our registration. Issei is about to say something if Kurumi didn't say something. Kurumi already knows what's going on in her Ice-koi mind. She simply cupped both Issa cheeks with her hands and said, we are all going because you wanted to go there, Ice-kun, it's pointless to go there without you. Before she could continue, Tiamat cut them in the middle. Anyway, I have talked to Kunu and she is coming here within an hour. Then we can discuss it, said Tiamat. Kunu arrived and was noticed by Miyuki. Ah. Kunu-chan, it's good to see you again, said Miyuki when she saw Kunu at the door. Good morning, Miyuki-sama, it's good to see you too, replied Kunu politely. Kunu-chan. Did something happen? Asked Hitomi suspiciously. Kunu has slept over here many times, but she never visits Issei early in the morning. Tia-chan informed me about changing some plans and asked to come early so we could have breakfast together as well as discuss," said Kunu. "Changing plans? May we know?" asked Max. He didn't like the way when he heard the changing plans, and if his guess was right, then it will be about summer camp. "Oh. We cancelled our registration for summer camp and Tia-chan asked me to come early so we could discuss more," Kunu stated simply, much to Miyuki and Hitomi's horror. After all, the entire summer camp idea was suggested by Miyuki and Hitomi, the ones who told the children. You didn't cancel the registration either, right? The other girls will go?" asked Miyuki. She was hoping she misheard of something that going to cancel. She didn't think that they already did that. "I already did. So Tia-chan, Office-chan, Volley-chan did. Last night Tia-chan called me and said Ice-kun and Rumi-chan cancelled their registration. She didn't tell me the details why they did so, but if they aren't going, then I'm not going either," said Kunu while rubbing her head. She has no idea what her statement will do to them. As she said, she headed towards Issei's room, leaving Issei's parents and grandparents with regretful faces. "What have we done? They already cancelled the registration," said Miyuki while looking at Tetsuya. "We punished him for no reason and ended up cancelling the entire summer camp," replied Tetsuya. "This is all my fault," said Hitomi, who lowered her head regretfully. Max just left the hall. He didn't like the way things were going. When he and Hitomi make Tetsuya and Miyuki understand that there isn't any Issei's fault there, it's already too late. "I think you should take Lefei and Kuroka for shopping as you promised them yesterday. I don't think anyone from the rest will join you as they are busy making plans," said Tetsuya to Miyuki, who just lowered her head and spoke. "Yes, you are right, we made the worst decision yesterday, resulting in cancelling the summer camp. But if they are going to make plans for summer, we must support them somehow to make it up for Issei. This is the first time we grounded him and he wasn't guilty if only relaxed and at giving him a chance to explain himself." Kunu was on her way to Issei's room as Kunu joined Issei and the rest of the girls. Volley told her everything that happened yesterday. "You mean Ice-kun is grounded and forced to cancel the summer camp because of things he even didn't do?" "To put it simply, yes," replied Tiamat. "I'm sorry. I'm the main Rieso." Kurumi started to apologize but stopped by Kunu and spoke. "You have nothing to do with this." "So what's the plan, Tia-chan?" asked Issei. "Oh, Ice-kun. Always eager, huh?" teased Tiamat, making Issei blush a little, then glare at her and the rest of girls glaring as well. Okay. Let's finish the breakfast first, then we can talk about it." "And Ice-koi, only you are allowed to look at me like that," added Tiamat, causing Issei's face to go redder than great red. While all the girls glaring dagger at her. "So I decided to drop it before it goes out of control." "Isn't the dining room inside? Why are we going towards the garden?" asked a confused Kunu. "Because we are going to have breakfast in an open garden," stated Issei. Soon they entered the garden with a table which was surrounded by 6 chairs. The table was full of food. And 2 servants standing near the table, mainly waiting for them to arrive. "Here you have breakfast. Issei-sama, as you request," said one of them. "Thank you, Sai-san. You too, Bonnie-san," Issei simply stated. Both of them give a half-polite bow and left, leaving 6 of them. After breakfast. "So what now?" asked Volley. This time Issei decided to remain silent, not wanting to get teased more by Tiamat. "Oh, I was hoping Ice-kun was going to ask me. I'm wounded." "Ice-kun, don't you care about your lit?" Before Tiamat could finish, she was hit by everyone killer intent towards her, even Office except Issei. Office's killer intent is enough to make her shut up. "Now it's time to get serious. Would you like to tell us about your plan?" asked Issei. "Fine, did you guys hear about Okinawa? And Issei, if I'm correct, your family own a resort there?" asked Tiamat. "Yes. We have." Issei paused and his eyes widened in realization of her idea. "Great idea, Tia-chan, you're the best," exclaimed Issei. Tiamat just giggled. "Okinawa, huh? I have to talk Kasama and I also have to ask permission," stated Kunu. "Don't worry, Kunu-chan, Yusaka-sama will let you go," cheered Kurumi happily. "Yes. We got almost a week to prepare. Next week we'll be in Okinawa," said Volley. Which everyone nodded. Currently Max is in his study room thinking about last night's event and Kunu's words. He couldn't help but think about the possibility of Issei requesting going back to Kuo. He shivered just thinking about the possibility. He was cut from his thoughts when there is a knock at door. Knock knock. "Come in." Issei entered his grandfather's study room. And simply looked at him. Max smiled when he saw Issei was the one who came. "Please, Issei-chan, do you want to talk about something?" asked Max. "Yes, Grandpa, we decided. Can we go to Okinawa next week?" asked Issei. "Okinawa? Quite a lovely place for summer, we already have a resort there." "And next week you say okay, fine." Max immediately agreed and gave permission, not wanting to cause any more disturbance inside the family. I'll inform Hitomi, Miyuki and Tatsuya, so don't worry about that, added Max. Thanks Grandpa. Issei thanked him and left. Okinawa. Huh, let's go there then. I already know Luna and Hitomi will immediately agree to go there with them, and as for Kin Hitomi alone enough to make him come, thought Max. Hour later. Max was seated on the couch in the hall. While drinking tea. When he heard Hitomi, Miyuki, Fei and Kuroka's sounds of chatting. He looked at door and find four figure entering the room. How was your shopping? Fei-chan, Kuroka-chan? Asked Max. It was great, we had ice cream there, said a very excited Fei. We bought stuff for summer camp too, Naya, said Kuroka. Hearing her mention of summer camp, Max frowned while Hitomi and Miyuki just lowered their heads. Fei noticed the reaction and asked, did something happen? That's not when we came to know the truth behind the incident and found Issei was innocent. We were about to tell him that he can go and the rest. But it was too late, you see. Vali, Tiamat, Office, and even Kunu all cancelled their registration yesterday as Issei did. Stated Miyuki with a low voice. She wasn't happy when she prohibited him from summer camp and found out that he is innocent and completely broke her. She even started to doubt if she was a good mother. Well. I have a good. There is development there. Stated Max with a smile. Development? What is it? Asked Hitomi curiously. 1 hour ago, Issei came to my study room and before he could finish he was bombarded by Hitomi and Miyuki's questions. What is it? He wants to go somewhere, he wants to go to summer camp. Or do something. Is he okay? Tell us. Miyuki and Hitomi asked in unison, much to Max's surprise. He never saw Hitomi acting this way, and who is kidding, this matter includes her grandson. And a baby son for Miyuki. Well, they want to go to Okinawa, said Max. Okinawa, didn't we own a high-class resort there? We are going to then, said Miyuki, without thinking twice. Okinawa is a fitting place to spend summer, as expected from my grandson, said Hitomi before giggling. Well, he is still thinking that he's grounded. And I didn't clear the misunderstanding because I wanted you, Miyuki-chan, to clear it tonight at the dinner table. It started on the dinner table and will end it. Declared Max. Max, Hitomi, Miyuki and Tatsuya are already present at the dinner table, along with Fei and Kuroka. Fei and Kuroka both agreed on going to Okinawa instead of the one that they originally planned if the rest were going. Flashback. Fei is sitting in her bed thinking about whether she'll go summer camp or in Okinawa, as Issei suggested wanted to go. If she continues and goes to summer camp next week, then Kuroka is the only person she knows, and even Kunu-sama isn't going. She was cut from her thoughts when someone knocked at her door. Come in, it's open, said Fei. Ah. Kuroka-chan. Said Fei when saw Kuroka coming in. Fei, we need to talk. Stated Kuroka with a serious face. Which Fei understood. Is it about the summer camp? And about the changing of plans, do you want to go to Okinawa? Asked Fei with a smile, she has been thinking the same thing for the past hour. How did you, so you are thinking the same? Asked Kuroka. To tell you honestly, I like the way Issei-kun stands for Kurumi-chan. Don't you agree? Asked Fei. Well, you are right, and seeing the look on the rest of them I can easily say he'll stand for them too, Naya, stated Kuroka. Isn't he the king? Yeah, and Kurumi is his queen, Naya. He even took her blame on himself without thinking twice. He is different, King Naya. Instead of building an peerage, he is building a family. I guess you are right, this is one of the reason I agree to join his peerage. You already want to join too, Naya? Yeah, I want to join Nani-sama's peerage. Don't tell me you don't want to, he treated us like his family. He gave me the family I ever wanted, I felt it when we went to shopping today. I guess you're right, let's talk to him after dinner, Naya. Flashback ends. Issei and the rest of the girls entered the dining room and found everyone staring at them. Ice-chan, come here. Come to Ka-chan, ordered Miyuki. Which Issei followed as Issei went near her. And she pulled him to her and forced him to sit on her lap, much to Issei's embracement. Mom? Shouted Issei in embracement, his face becoming a little red. What, Ice-chan? Do you want something? What are you doing by suddenly pulling me on your lap? Oh, it's simple, I'm going to feed you, Ice-chan. And she looked at Tatsuya, who nodded. We are sorry for yesterday, Ice-chan. Miyuki and Tatsuya said in unison. Sorry, and what for? Asked a very confused Issei. We punished you for no reason, even we prohibited you to go to summer camp, as Miyuki said and lowered her head and said, we wanted to say sorry. It's okay, Mom. You only did that because you are worried and wanted to teach me a lesson. Replied Issei with a smile. No, it's not okay. Ka-chan is going to make it up for you now, so Ka-chan decided to go with you and the girls to Okinawa. Declared Miyuki, much to Issei's shock. Since he thought only the girls were going. Really? Yeah, and you and Kurumi, both are ungrounded, said Hitomi while patting Issei's head. Thank you, Oba-san, replied Kurumi as she heard Miyuki. Kurumi-chan, Oba-san is sorry, okay? Sweetie. Miyuki apologized. It's okay. Oba-san. Now Issei, open your mouth. Let Ka-chan feed you, say ah, said Miyuki, much to Issei embracement. At the end of the day everyone has happy faces. Issei felt someone pull the edge of his shirt, he turned around and saw Lefei and Kuroka were standing there. Fei-chan, Kuro-chan, may I help you with something? Asked Issei. Lefei and Kuroka both have slightly blushed at the nickname Issei gave them. Yes, Ani-sama. Can we talk to you alone, asked Lefei. Kuroka nodded in agreement. Okay. Follow me, said Issei, and indicate to them to follow him. He led them to a garden where no one was present there. Fei-chan, Kuro-chan. Is something wrong? You both can't tell me anything, and I'll listen. Asked Issei in a very concerned tone. Lefei and Kuroka both blushed at the nickname, not to mention his concerned voice melted them, not to mention his draconic presence. We want to join your peerage, Naya. Kuroka spoke, looking in his eyes. Lefei nodded. How are you sure? Asked Issei, not wanting to force them into something that they don't want to. Yes. Ani-sama, we both talked about it and decided to join if only you let us, said Lefei and smiled. She knew now Issei won't turn her down. Of course. You both are welcome anytime, but before we proceed further I would like to reveal a secret and I want complete secrecy on this topic. Asked Issei. Seeing his serious face, Lefei decided to ask, what is Ani-sama? You both know that I'm not a human, right? Asked Issei. Issei-kun is a dragon, correct? Naya, said Kuroka, then she looked at his face which clearly showed there was something else to right. Issei-kun. There is something more, Kuro-chan, which you both didn't know. What is it, Ani-sama? Lefei decided to interfere. I'm not just a simple dragon, I'm far more than that, said Issei, who is now going to reveal one of the most secret things about him. Well, you see, I'm a dragon god, stated Issei. Lefei and Kuroka both froze for a minute. What, but how? Asked Lefei and Kuroka. Well, I'll tell in future. If Issei started to explain, he isn't ready to reveal everything, but Kuroka stopped him and spoke. We understand you aren't ready for this, and we completely respect your decision, but if you want to tell us anytime. Our ears are all yours. Said Kurokai, who was soon joined by Lefei. Hi, Ani-sama, Kuroka-chan is right and we still want to join your peerage, said Lefei with a determined face. Let me see, Kuroka is good at Senjutsu, and Lefei is good at magic, okay? I've decided. Issei nodded and completed the ritual to make Kuroka and Lefei as his bishop. So both of them joined your peerage, mate? Asked Office, seated on grass under a tree in the garden. Yes, Office Heim, they both joined, and I just told them I'm a dragon god, replied Issei, who was lying on the grass, putting his head on Office's lap, who constantly playing with her mate's hair. So what do you want to do with them? Ice koi? Asked Office, who was enjoying playing with her mate's hair. I want to help them reach their true potential. Also, I want you to research about Kuroka's species and the proper way to reach her true potential so they will become strong in future, and as for now I'll ask Tiamat to give them basic dragon training. As for the other girl, Lefei is a descendant of the legendary witch, Morgan Le Fay. Lefei is a highly skilled and talented magician. Proficient in magic ranging from black magic, white magic, Norse magic, fairy magic, and teleportation circles. She has also mentioned her knowledge of many forbidden spells. She's already really strong and will continue to get stronger. The wise choice, mate. I'll help them in more advanced training when they reach the level of a high-class dragon, and maybe later for Lefei, she can reach Dragon King or even Heavenly Dragon, who knows. It'll take 1 or 2 years to dig in Kuroka's species. You don't have to worry about it, mate. I've already sent my spies to gather information about her species. We'll get it in a day, said Office with a smile. Thanks, Office Heim. I don't know what to do if I don't have you, Heim, said Issei. Office giggled and leaned towards his face and give a pick on his lips and said, probably messing up the things. Time skip. 1 week, Okinawa. The sun was high as the sounds of crashing waves only added to the serene view that was the beach. The sky was blue with only a few clouds in sight. The sounds of people either talking or enjoying the weather at this moment gave the area a pleasant atmosphere. Currently, lying underneath a parasol, Amaterasu was lying on a beach chair, enjoying the gentle breeze, wearing a red bikini that revealed her voluptuous figure. It caught the attention of several teenage males that kept getting a glance at her. When Issei told her he isn't going to summer camp, she asked why. When he explained the situation, she was pissed, beyond pissed. Issei swears he never saw something that terrified besides her mother. He somehow managed to calm her by telling her about the Okinawa plan, which ended up her joining. Lying next to him, underneath the same parasol, was Yusaka, who was sleeping chest down on a towel. She wore a black bikini that revealed her voluptuous figure, while concealing both her ears and tails. When Kunu asked for permission for the Okinawa trip, she immediately agreed and decided to tag along for the trip. That made Kunu more than happy. They were watching the children's, making a sandcastle. Except Issei. Where is my Otanto? Asked Amaterasu. He forgot something in his room. So he went to grab it, said a feminine voice from behind. Amaterasu and Yusaka turned to see Miyuki and Hitomi were standing, both wearing sundress and a straw hat. Oh, Hitomi-sama and Miyuki-san greeted Yusaka. Meanwhile with Issei. I can't believe it, how can I forget my goggles in my room? Now finally I got it, I should go back to the beach. With that Issei closed the door of his room and walked to the beach. He didn't pay attention to his surroundings, just walking towards where he left his girls making a sandcastle. He accidentally bumps into someone, resulting in both of them falling to the sand. Issei looked at the person he bumped into. The said person was a girl with black hair styled in a short bob cut and violet eyes. He stared at for full 5 minutes, the girl doing the same. When they realized what they were doing they both blushed, and without thinking twice Issei spoke. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. Are you okay? It's okay, I'm fine, I was doing the same, said the black hair girl. Issei name's Issei Hyoudou, introduced Issei. Sona, my name is Sona Citri, introduced the girl. Issei looked at the person he bumped into. The said person was a girl with black hair styled in a short bob cut and violet eyes. He stared at for full 5 minutes, the girl doing the same. When they realized what they were doing they both blushed, and without thinking twice Issei spoke. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. Are you okay? It's okay, I'm fine, I was doing the same, said the black hair girl. Issei name's Issei Hyoudou, introduced Issei. Sona, my name is Sona Citri, introduced the girl. Issei closely examined the girl, who he bumped into. The one who introduced herself as Sona Citri was wearing a blue strapless two-piece swimsuit. Wait, did she say Citri? The Citri clan, one of the remaining 33 devil clans of the 72 pillars. Why is a member of the Citri clan here? Thought Issei, still looking at her. When Sona caught, he was still looking at her, she blushed, but before she could say anything or he asked anything they were distracted when they heard a feminine voice from behind. Sotan. Sona didn't need to turn around as she knew who was calling her and sighed while Issei looked towards the source of the voice and caught the teenage version of Sona without any glasses. Here you are, Sotan. Wani-chan was so depressed when she didn't find you, I was about to call entire guards to look for you, she said. Then she looked towards the person her Sotan talking to. And found a cute adorable boy with grey hair with shining green eyes. Before Sona could reply, she spoke again. Oh. My Sotan got a boyfriend. Said teased Serafol cheerfully, making Sona's face completely red. Wani-sama. It's not like that. We just know each other's name, said a red-faced Sona. Issei didn't know what to feel, but nodded lastly. Is that so? Anyway, I'm Sona's Wani-chan, Serafol Citri. Serafol said in a cute childish voice. Sona just signed, knowing her Wani-sama behavior. Issei already told Serafol to act like they first met before they went to Amaterasu and asked for the same thing. Issei found her behavior cute and thought aloud, you are really cute, Serafol-san, and blinked. Did I just said that? Serafol had a star in her eyes, finding another true fan of hers. Oh. Thank you I didn't get your name actually, said Serafol, while having curious expressions when she asked his name. Nice act, Sera-chan. Thought Issei. Because I never gave you my name, in fact I just introduced myself to Sona before you came anyway, my name is Issei Hyoudou. Issei introduced himself with a smile which caught Serafol off guard. Now that I think about it, when we first met, Issei-kun's family name was Hyoudou. Was he related to them? Thought Serafol, but before she asked anything. Another feminine voice interrupts them. Ice-chan. Where are you? Here you are, Ice-chan, said a feminine voice. The trio looked towards the voice and they had mixed reactions. Issei already knew who she was and imagined what he looked like to his company. Serafol stared at her in disbelief. She isn't recovered from Hyoudou bomb now she. Why? She is here, and she used a nickname for Issei, she must be close to him, thought Serafol still with disbelieving eyes. Wow. Her power is so great. Even surpassing Wani-sama. She is like Sun, who is she? And she used a nickname for Ice-kun, must be his Wani-sama, thought Sona, still amazed by the aura she was radiating. Wani-chan. Ami Wani-chan, I was just talking with them, said Issei while pointing toward Citrus. Amaterasu just looked at them and immediately identified them. She usually hates the devil, but when she caught Serafol she smiled, after all she may be devil, but a different one than the most greedy ones. Looks like Otanto already making friends with a devil king. Wani-chan. Did he just say that? And to Amaterasu no less Hyoudou's, and she were really close then, and I told Surziches many times to make a better relationship with other factions, but he always said let other factions make a move, first thought Serafol. I knew it. His Wani-sama, but she is powerful, that means Issei will become powerful in the future too. Thought Sona with a dreamy face. Greetings, Lady Leviathan, Era Citri, said Amaterasu in a polite tone. Issei remembered his history teaching and Devil Civil War and immediately recognized Serafol as Devil King Serafol Leviathan. "Hello Lady Amaterasu," greeted Seraphil in her childish and polite tone. Did she say Amaterasu? As one of the top 10 strongest beings. And Ice-kun called her Wani-chan. "Who are you, Issei?" thought Sona, looking at Amaterasu, but she decided to greet her. After all, she is the heiress of House of Citri, and it won't look good if she didn't greet someone like Amaterasu. It would be an insult if she didn't. "Greetings Amaterasu-sama," greeted Sona politely. "Ah. A well-mannered girl, she must take after you," Seraphil complimented Amaterasu, while Seraphil giggled and Sona blushed. "What are you doing here, Amaterasu-san?" asked a very curious Seraphil. "Spending quality time with my little Otanto, maybe he'll add me to his harem in future," said Amaterasu while saying the last part in a teasing tone. Which got her immediate reaction from Issei, who blushed red that would put great red to shame. "Wani-chan," exclaimed Issei in embarrassment. Amaterasu just giggled. Seraphil looked at them with a star in her eyes. While Sona just stared at them with shocked expressions. "Can I join too?" asked Seraphil. Much to Sona's embarrassment. "Wani-sama," this time the voice comes from Sona. And this time Seraphil giggled. "Of course Seraphil," said a very excited Amaterasu. "Yeah," replied Seraphil in very childish behavior. "Wani-chan sama," exclaimed Issei and Sona in unison. This time both Seraphil and Amaterasu both giggled. "Anyway, how about joining us, Seraphil?" asked Amaterasu. "Of course. Amaterasu-san, we'd love to," said Seraphil, to which Sona nodded while looking at Issei. Issei just smiled. "Let's go, So-chan, you'd love to meet the others," exclaimed Issei as he held her hand and ran towards others, completely missing a blushing face of Sona. While Amaterasu and Seraphil giggled again. "He is holding my hand," thought Sona. "Here we are, So-chan," said Issei, who brought back Sona from her dreamland. She found herself looking toward 7 girls. Issei found this awkward, so he decided to introduce Sona to others since he brought her. "Hey girls. Meet Sona. Our new friend." And Sona meet Kurumi while pointing towards the blonde girl, Valen while pointing towards the silver hair girl, Lefei pointed towards another blonde, Kuroka while pointing towards the black hair girl, Kunu while pointing towards the last blonde. Tiamat while pointing towards the deep blue hair girl, and my office while pointing at midnight hair girl. Which caught Sona completely off guard. Kunu as Princess of Kyoto. Tiamat the Chaos Karma Dragon. And Office as Infinity Dragon God. And he said my office. And he is still alive. What in the world is going on here? And each of them radiating the aura of ultimate class. How? Thought Sona. But she decided to drop it and introduced herself. "Hello, I'm Sona Citri. Nice to meet you," greeted Sona with a small bow in a pure-blooded manner. "You must be interested in us, and yes, we live together if that's what you were thinking," said a very amused Tiamat. "And if you think asking any of us to join your peerage, you mentioned yourself Citri, then we politely declined since we are off limits," said Valen, not wanting to get Sona up high, since Sona can easily tell they are powerful, very powerful indeed. First Sona was disappointed but nodded nevertheless. "I understand," said Sona. Isaka and Hitomi were discussing the whole trip and making plans for dinner when they were interrupted by a third voice. "Look who I found here, Isaka-chan," Hitomi-chan said, a feminine voice which happened to be Amaterasu's. Both of them first looked towards Amaterasu and then the girl next to her. It took a couple of seconds before they recognized the Devil King. "Isaka-san, Hitomi-san, it's a pleasure to meet you again," greeted Seraphil politely. "Ah, Seraphil-san, indeed it's a pleasure." Greeted Hitomi back. Isaka nodded and asked, "What are you doing here, Seraphil?" She decided to take her little sister Sona here, where her little sister bumped into Issei and where I found him making friends with Sona. Replied by Amaterasu. Seraphil just nodded. Issei's name caught Hitomi off guard. She eyed Seraphil and said in a very threatening calm tone, "If you dare to harm my cute little grandson or try to add him in your peerage, you'll find yourself in a very complicated situation, even if you're a devil king." Seraphil swallowed nervously while Yusaka nodded in agreement. In the last few months, Yusaka started to treat Issei as her own son, which she never had. "I wouldn't dare, as he carries the name of Hyoudou, and if he is related to you then trust me, no one in the devil faction is going to make a move against him," assured Seraphil. "And Sona makes a friend other than that spoiled princess," she muttered the last part to herself, but Hitomi and Yusaka heard it clearly but decided to ask it later. "Don't worry, Issei can make her comfortable, and he has lots of friends, so don't worry, as he now going to introducing them to her. Your little sister is going to make lots of friends, and ladies, it's summer break and we come here to have fun. Mind if Seraphil and her little sister join us? I assured you she won't harm Ice-chan," said Amaterasu. "Then it is okay with us anyways, we are making a special plan for dinner. Come join us," said Yusaka with a smile as they started to plan the evening. Seraphil caught sight of Sona smiling and talking with Issei and his friends. First she smiled and then froze when she looked at Issei's friends. Every one of them radiates the aura of ultimate class, if not higher than that, except for a certain blonde princess. She paled when she saw Tiamat and Office together, talking with them. She knows both dragons are friends, but she never sees them together, even seeing Infinite Dragon God and lived to tell the tale that is completely unheard of. Is that Office? Asked Seraphol with disbelief. Amaterasu giggled. Yusaka sighed, knowing where the upcoming conversation would go, but fortunately it was Hitomi who replied. Yes, the very same. I hope is it not a problem I guess. Seraphol looked at her like she had grown a second head, the very same woman who threatened her if she did anything to her grandson. Yusaka read her facial expressions and replied before anyone interrupted. Office and Ice are close, very close, and don't worry, she won't harm her mate. And if you are thinking Office or Tiamat will harm anyone, then I like disappoint you that they won't do anything like that, which I Amaterasu then looked at Hitomi and Yusaka, both of them nodded, which brought smile on Amaterasu's face, and she continued, I mean we can guarantee that. Replied Amaterasu with a serious face. And I hope this discussion will not be made public, said Yusaka in a tone that she won't take no in answer. Seraphol just shook her head and said no. I won't inform higher up, but still Hyoudou's, Kyoto, Shinto gods, Office and Tiamat working together can cause an uproar in Underworld, not to mention rest of his friends. That's my Ice's doing, said Amaterasu and giggled. Yes, he has a very unique way to bond people together. Muttered Yusaka in a low voice, looking at her daughter who was holding Issei's hand. Seraphol-san. What do you mean, spoiled princess? Yusaka asked and got the attention of Hitomi and Amaterasu. Oh my, you heard that? Well, it's the sister of the current demon king Lucifer, Seraphol said. Did something happen in the underworld? Hitomi asked. No, it's not really major, it's just that princess is the best friend of my Sotan, and that princess is really spoiled, so I don't want Sotan to be influenced by her, Seraphol said in an irritated tone. You really love your sister, Seraphol, like how much I like my Ice-kun, Amaterasu said with a dreamy tone. Kai Ice-kun. Hitomi, Yusaka and Seraphol just giggled at the action of Amaterasu. This felt a chill run through his spine. I have a bad feeling, muttered by Issei. Did you say something, Issei-kun? Asked by Sona. Oh, no, don't mind me, let's go. Where are we going, Ba-chan? Asked a very excited man as he was told they were going to have a special dinner. With both Seraphol and Sona joining them. Tsuya and Miyuki told that Seraphol and Amaterasu are old friends and she is here with her little sister for summer. Which they agreed. Max agreed for them to join, and Hitomi told him the entire conversation, so he agreed in the end with a condition of keeping a close eye on her. Ice-chan at secret, replied a very amused Hitomi. Issei pouted while making a cute expression while the rest of the ladies found it cute and fought their urge to yell kawaii. Suddenly Issei got a devilish plan and smirked widely. Hitomi instantly caught his smirk and it already raised a red flag. Issei raised his arms in front of his mother with a lost puppy look on his face. That makes him too adorable in the lady's eyes. Miyuki bent down to lift Issei into her arms and placed her comfortably on his hips. Miyuki loved it when Issei acted cutely to her, her little Issei is everything. Hitomi sighed as she knew if Issei asked her mother now, she'd answer anything and everything. Mom, I'm hungry, Issei said with a puppy look. Don't worry son, we are about to reach the beach where we plan an open-air dinner so we can admire its beauty while having dinner. I'm 100% sure you're gonna like it, said Miyuki, who was completely busy adoring her little Issei. Issei placed his head on her shoulder and smiled while asking, can we have ice cream after that, Ka-chan? Of course. We can, replied Hitomi as she gave a peck at his cheek. The Fae, Kuroka, Sona and Seraphol have surprised faces. They never thought Issei would ever behave like that. Max chuckled, seeing their surprised, disbelieving, and astonished faces. Don't worry, you all just saw one of his mood swings. Which is only limited to his mother, then he looked at his grandson and said, you have my respect, my grandson, you learn from the best. Issei beamed and smirked, I know. Everyone laughed except Miyuki, who was still busy mothering his son. Soon they reached a place near the beach where they found a round table with many chairs around it and 2 waiters around it. This is Hyoudou, I presume? Asked one of them. Hitomi came forward and confirmed, yes gentlemen, I booked today a special dinner for my family and friends, I think everything is ready or we aren't too early or late. Second waiter nodded and said, no ma'am, you are on right time, and yes, everything is ready ma'am. Hitomi and the rest of them are seated. Wow, this looks like an advanced version of open-air dinner, but we added a beach, said Issei, admiring the beauty around. I told you, son. We are about to reach here and you gonna like it, said Hitomi lifting her son onto her lap. I love it, mom, said Issei happily as he adjusted himself on his mother's lap. Glad to hear, said Miyuki while stroking his hair. Did you have fun today? Asked Miyuki. Yes mom. I made new friends. Said Issei with a bright smile. Oh really, who are they? Miyuki said and Issei pointed to Sona and Seraphol. Looks like you added another member on your harem again, Issei said to Tsaya and grinned pervertedly, but that only earned a smack from Miyuki. Ouch. He said, and the others laughed. It is the first time I saw him act like that, said LeFei while looking at Issei and his mother. Well, his mood swings are like that, he acts cutely and adorable around his mother if he wants something, said Kurumi with a smile. Wait until you see how he behaves in a battle duel training. The amount of concentration, seriousness and determination he shows can actually rival mature adults. And when it comes to intelligence and battle strategy, he is a genius, a prodigy in simple language, surpassing everyone I know, heck even my own mother, said Kunu. While watching interactions between a mother and a son. Which caught everyone's attention except adults who were busy with their conversation. Really, Naya? Asked a very surprised-looking Kuroka. Kunu nodded. As expected from my mate, my ice office started with a half-smile. Playfully corrected Tiamat. Mate. Wait. You mean started Kunu, but before she could finish Tiamat replied bingo office Markham already, and I'm planning to do same. Bali looked at Tiamat and then office with disbelieving looks. Kunu blushed redder that put great red in shame. Well, the rest of the girls have confusing and curious faces except Sona as she knows what mate means in certain races. Mate means husband or wife. In simple language Issei and Office are already married in Dragonic law. Tiamat told them bluntly when she saw confusing expressions on girls' faces. All girls except Office and Tiamat have jaws hanging on the ground. All of them looked at Office to deny it, but when she blushed it confirmed what they just heard was true. When Office heard married, she blushed which confirmed what Tiamat said to the rest of the girls. But before any girls comment, Tiamat also added, and she is willing to share, so Issei can have a harem. You mean Kurumi started? We can, continued Kunu. Also continued Vali with a red face. Marry him, finished LeFei and Kuroka in unison. Of course. You all can, as I already approved of you all, but make sure he stays away from any girl who isn't good for his health and wealth, is that clear? Stated Office with an authority voice. To which every girl nodded. Isn't it good for health and wealth? Asked LeFei with a confusing tone. Tiamat sighed and said she meant any gold digger or any woman who wants him to use his power for their personal gain. LeFei eyes widened in realization. Don't worry. We'll be damned if we let something like that happen, Kurumi said to make her claim. Yes, she is right, and don't worry, I'll kill them myself, Office stated simply. Sona, who was listening to the entire conversation, paled at the thought of the poor girl facing the wrath of the Infinity Dragon God. Soon the dinner was over and Issei and the girls went for ice cream with Miyuki while the rest of them decided to walk around the beach. Thank you mom for the ice cream, you're the best, beamed Issei while taking a bite of his chocolate ice cream. Office also took chocolate ice cream as she had seen her maid eating before. Kurumi and Kunu took strawberries. Vali, LeFei and Tiamat took orange and lastly Kuroka and Sona took vanilla. Welcome Issei-kun, said Miyuki with a smile. Oh. Aren't Ice-chan gonna share with his Ka-chan, added Miyuki. Issei looked at his mom and simply showed his chocolate ice cream to his mom and said, here mom, have a bite, cheerfully replied Issei, which Miyuki found cute and that earned him a peek on his cheek. Issei and the rest of them returned back to their rooms. Since the Hyoudou already had a manor there, they didn't have to book any hotel rooms and their manor was quite large, so everyone got their own room. But even after getting a separate room, like they always do in their home, the girls didn't budge, they simply took a room and decided to sleep at Issei's room, continuing their normal life. The day's morning was special to everyone as they planned to visit Shuriho Castle, Cape Manzamo, and Okinawa Chirami Aquarium at last. Hitomi also invited Serafal and Sona almost an hour early for breakfast so she can talk about today's plan with them, as Amaterasu insisted on inviting them on every trip, which the rest of the group didn't refuse. Hitomi, Miyuki and Amaterasu were discussing for today's program with every single detail, while Max and Tetsuya were discussing their own stuff. It looks like the kids were enjoying more than they could have enjoyed at the summer camp that originally planned. Stated Tetsuya. Max nodded in agreement and said, you can say so, but it's not only kids who are enjoying it, but we are enjoying this too. Yes, you can say that again, but when we think about it, it's really been a while since we went out with the rest of the family, huh? Asked Tetsuya while remembering the last time he went out with his parents. Yes it is, and the reason for it is clearly Issei, stated Max. He became a lifeline for the family, especially for his Ka-chan, and Hitomi-chan is starting to spoil him too. You said like as if you didn't spoiled him, you also spoiled him as much as they did. I have only one grandson, so I don't see the reason why I shouldn't, complained Max, while Tetsuya just chuckled at his father's ridiculous excuse. Suddenly they were interrupted as a household servant came and said, Hitomi-sama, Miyuki-sama, our guests Serafal-sama and Sona-sama have arrived. Please send them in, ordered Hitomi. After a few minutes they arrived at the living room. Hitomi saw them coming and greeted them. Ah. Serafal and little Sona-chan, good morning, come and sit with us as we were discussing today's program, said invited Hitomi. Serafal nodded and sat next to Amaterasu while Sona decided to stand behind her sister. Amaterasu saw her and spoke with a smile. Sona-chan, why don't you go upstairs and get Issei and others, they probably awake now. Yes, Tan, go greet your future husband. A sweet very good morning, teased Serafal in a very low voice so only Sona could hear. Hearing that makes Sona face redder than great red. She didn't know if she felt embarrassed for calling her Tan or calling Issei as future husband or to greet Ice-kun in the morning. In the end she decided it's better to join them since she can't interfere in adult matters. Sona was on her way to Issei's room and when Sona arrived she was standing in front of Ice-kun's room and still thinking how he was gonna react after seeing her. She gave her thinking a pause and knocked at his door twice. But she didn't get any reply so she knocked twice again. But still she didn't get any reply so she decided to push the door and found out that the door was open. She knocked again but again got no reply. So she decided to enter his room. She pushed the door and the door was now completely open. And a shocked face Sona was standing there. Sona knew what they were talking about last night at the dinner table but didn't expect to see this type of situation this early in the morning. She doesn't know she'd see this type of situation but this early. In front of her was a bed bigger than the extra king-size bed, must be custom made she thought. But that wasn't the main reason for her shock. But in the bed, Issei was laying in the middle of the bed with the girl she met last night. Kunu on his left side while using his hand as her pillow, not to mention in her true form. On his right side Office was sleeping while using right hand as her pillow. At least she was glad that Office wasn't sleeping in her true form. She started to doubt that she was the same Office she heard about. The rest of the girls also find a place on his bed and sleeping peacefully. She didn't know what to feel. On the first hand she was blushing madly at what she was seeing, but on the other hand, she felt a little bit jealous to be left out and missed the chance to sleep with Ice-kun. She was so caught up in her thinking that she completely missed that Issei was starting to wake up. When Issei completely awoke, the first thing he saw was the girls around him, which didn't surprise him. For him, it's a normal morning for him with the addition of Kunu. And it also didn't surprise him a bit since whenever Kunu came for a sleepover, she chose to sleep with them. But when he looked at the door he found Sona was standing there with her mouth open and a very shocked face. He just rubbed his head in confused manner at her expression and said, "Good morning So-chan, it's good to see you again," greeted Issei, still laying on his bed. To Sona it brought her back to her consciousness. Issei's voice woke Kunu up, who was now starting to wake up. Sona decided to greet him back and tried her best to hide her blushing face. Hitomi-sama has sent me to get you and others downstairs," said Sona while compassing herself. "Sounds like Bachan," said Issei, and before he could finish his sentence Kunu's voice interrupted him, who happened to be half awake now. 5 more minutes, Ice-koi, mumbled Kunu and snuggled deeper into him. Now resting her head on his chest. Issei just patted her on the back, completely missing the bright red face of Sona, who started to play with her finger. "Please tell Bachan, we'll be downstairs within half an hour," said Issei before starting to awaken others. "So we are going to visit these places today?" asked a very cheerful Devil King Leviathan. "That's right, Sarah. I'm sure Sona will like these places," replied Amaterasu with a bright smile. "And Sona really gets along with the other. Anyway, Serafal, Issei's birthday is next month. I'm inviting you to his birthday party. You must come with Sona-chan, she'll like it." Invited Miyuki. Amaterasu nodded in agreement. Ice-chan's birthday is next month already? I should get a better gift for him then, Serafal replied in her way. "Where is Sona-chan anyway?" asked Yusaka. "Oh. I sent her upstairs to get Issei and others," answered Hitomi. Before she could say anything she found a bright red face Sona that was walking towards them. "Hello, Sona-chan. Where is Issei and others?" asked Hitomi. Miyuki, Yusaka, Amaterasu and Serafal looked at her waiting for her reply with confused expressions with her bright red face. "He just woke up and said he'll downstairs with others within half an hour," answered Sona, still with a red face. "So that's why your face is red," stated Yusaka. She knew very well about Issei's sleeping situation. After all, he came for a sleepover at Yusaka Manor 6 to 7 times a month. Hitomi, Miyuki and Amaterasu caught what she was talking about. Hitomi and Miyuki just sighed and Amaterasu giggled. While Serafal asked with confused expressions, "I don't really understand, did something happen?" "Well, Sarah, it's just they all sleep together," Amaterasu told her bluntly. Serafal blinked twice before understanding of her words. "I see." She then looked at Sona, who still have a little pink blush in her cheek, and asked in teasing manner, "Is someone jealous for not getting chance to sleep with Ice-chan?" Little pink blush turns back into a reddish tomato color. "Wani-sama," shouted Sona in embracement and the others just laughed. Soon Issei and the girls joined them. Issei found them on the breakfast table. And he greeted them. I'm presuming that you already made today's plan, Bachan? Asked Issei, sitting on a chair across his Bachan. Good morning, Kasan, said Kunu. Morning, my little princess, said Yusaka, lifting her daughter onto her lap. The rest of the girls also found their seats and adjusted themselves on their chairs. We decided to visit Shuriho Castle today. How's that sound? Asked Hitomi to Issei. Amazing, Bachan. The 11th World Heritage Site Shuriho Castle, exclaimed Issei. The 11th World Heritage Site, asked by a very curious Lefei. Shuriho Castle served as the proud and dignified center of Ryukyu Kingdom and its politics, foreign affairs and culture. With architectural influences from both China and Japan, the castle shows its exceptional cultural and historical values in its unique stonework and architectural design. Thus, Shuriho was designated as a World Heritage Site in December of 2000, the 11th World Heritage Site within Japan. Surprisingly, the reply came from Sona. Issei just nodded to confirm what she said. We are also planning to visit Cape Manzamo, informed Miyuki. And Issei's eyes widened at what his mother said. The Cape Manzamo, I always wanted to see the sunset from there, said a very excited Issei. Is there anything special at sunset from there? Asked Volley with a curious tone. Indeed it is. Due to its location, Cape Manzamo is facing the open East China Sea to the west. This makes it a very popular spot on Okinawa for viewing the sunset, replied Issei. Then we are going to watch the sunset from there, confirmed Miyuki with a smile. This is going to be an amazing tour, said Issei. Issei finds himself seated on the sofa while drinking orange juice. Did you enjoy it today, honey? Asked Miyuki while playfully rubbing his hair. Yes. Kachan, I took lots of photos too, said Issei as he started to share his photos on his camera. Where are others, Office Heim? Asked Issei as only his mother and Office were in the living room with him. Well, your grandfather and father were booking some event for tomorrow. Yusaka, Amaterasu and Serafel went shopping as Amaterasu found a site of a good shopping mall nearby. As for your grandmother and the rest of the girls, I don't know, said Miyuki and smiled as she saw the photo of yesterday's dinner, in which Issei was seated on her lap and she was feeding him. Bachan and the rest of the girls are planning for an open-air dinner at our garden, so they are now at the garden, planning for our dinner, Office simply stated and got off from her chair and placed herself on Issei's lap. Miyuki holding herself to yell cute at the cute sight. And since she has a camera on her, she captured the moment on her camera. Meanwhile, Hitomi and the girls are busy preparing for the event. So how does it look, girls? Asked Hitomi as she finished the preparation. Wow, Grandma, it looks amazing, exclaimed Lefei as she looked at the preparation. What is it called, Bachan? Asked Kurumi as she guessed that it must be a themed dinner. What do you mean, Kurumi-chan? Asked Tiamat as she raised both of her eyebrows. Tiamat-san, Kurumi-chan wants to know if it is a themed dinner or not. But if you ask me, it surely looks like one, answered Valen. Kuroka and Kurumi nodded in agreement. You both are quite right, dear, it is a themed dinner called Elegant Summer Dinner. I'm sure Ice-chan is going to enjoy this, said a very amused Hitomi as a 7-year-old girl caught the basics of dinner arrangement. Amaterasu, Yusaka and Serafel are out shopping. Amaterasu-san, I think this will be enough for today, said Yusaka in a very irritated tone, carrying 4 bags full of clothes and different fashionable items. Oh. Come on, Yusaka-chan, I have yet to get an 11th gift for Issei's birthday, replied Amaterasu with a pout. Well, Serafel checked the new magical outfit she got for Sona and herself. 11th? Just how many gifts do you plan to give Issei on his birthday? Asked Yusaka with a disbelieving look. That's easy to answer. Double the number of presents Otanto will get on his birthday, cheerfully replied Amaterasu. Yusaka facepalmed. That's a very good goal, Amaterasu-chan, commented Serafel. Thank you, Serah. You're the only one who can understand me, said Amaterasu with a fake mock and hurt tone. Yusaka just rolled her eyes. Of course. After all, I'm a one-e-chan too, replied Serafel with a serious, determined face. Yusaka could swear it's the first time she saw Serafel's serious face. She didn't know this woman can be serious at all, and a determined one no less. I think it's an one-e-chan thing that I can't understand, thought Yusaka, as she was completely clueless at what was happening. Meanwhile, while all this was happening, Max and Tetsuya was talking some stuffs and drinking tea. So all the preparation for tomorrow has been made? Asked confirmed Max. Yes. Dad, you don't need to worry. The children are going to enjoy it, confirmed assured Tetsuya. Dad. I'm worried about Issei's future. Do you think he can handle himself when we aren't there? Miyuki is worried about the same thing too. You know how much Miyuki loved Issei. Of course he'll be okay as long we guide him to the right path and be there when he need us. I'm sure everything will be fine, and for the past few years I think he's already at the level at the Heavenly Dragon or even Dragon God class. I guess you are right, he has already the strength to protect his harem, Tetsuya said while laughing. Haha, I guess you are right, my grandson is living the life of a man's dream. Anyway, how's your sister-in-law? Did the doctor say anything about her condition? Asked Max while drinking tea. Unfortunately no. She is still in a coma. And showing no sign of recovery. Said Tetsuya and sighed. Max frowned and said get the best doctors from all over the world. Tetsuya Kurumi-chan growing up without her mother is not good, I know you, and Miyuki-chan will always be there for her, but still. I know what you want to say dad and I understand completely and if it isn't for Ice-chan, I don't know how to get Kurumi-chan out of her depression. She has always been close to him and afraid of losing him and being by his side as he does the same for her and the way she's willing to stand up for him like what happened at the whole summer camp issue and what happened at the dinner table. She stood for him there and Issei didn't disappoint her and did the same said Tetsuya with a smile, remembering the whole drama at the dinner table and don't worry. I'm already in contact with a specialist. That's good to know, anyway Issei's birthday is next month, I think we will make him heir of the house, I know he already is what I mean is make it official, what do you say asked Max with a serious face he knew Tetsuya won't disagree with him, but making it official means more paperwork for Tetsuya. Surprisingly Tetsuya nodded and said I was thinking the same thing, Dad. It's time to make it official. Max nodded with a satisfying smile and said when are we returning back to Kyoto? In 4 days Dad, is there a problem? Replied Tetsuya with a question and also raised his eyebrow while saying the last part. Aren't we going to organize a business party too? Answered Max as he raised both of his eyebrows. Tetsuya blinked and sighed heavily, knowing too well that when they introduce Issei as heir to the house, many things will be changed in his life. They've returned. So it's a goodbye then asked Sona in a very low tone that only Issei can hear while looking downwards. Issei looked at her for a moment before tackled her in a warm hug while whispering something in her ear that made her giggle. Serafo looked at her baby sister with a warm smile. When she planned the trip, she never thought this trip turned out this way and she was glad that it turned out this way. Sona giggled much to the Serafo's shock and delight, who had never heard her cute little sister giggle before. Oh. So-chan you hurt me do you really think it's a goodbye? Here I thought you'll still be in contact with me and the rest of us whispered Issei with a mock-hurt tone. Sona giggled. Issei broke the embrace much to her disappointment and other girls' delight. I'm going to miss you all were my closest best friend, said Sona sadly. Especially you Ice-kun. What do you mean by were? We are still best friends and nothing is going to change that, said Kurumi. Here, this is for your Sona-chan, said Valen as she handed a magical book Advanced Dark Magic of Water and Ice. To non-supernatural beings, it's like an old story book featuring a prince and princess fairy tale. But for a supernatural being could see what it actually is. And don't forget that my birthday is next month, aren't you coming to my birthday So-chan? Of course. I'm going idiot anyway you didn't tell me what you want on your birthday. Asked Sona in a cheerful tone, who completely acted 180° to her original personality, much to her one-sama joy. You is just fine Issei replied nonchalantly. Sona blinked once and twice and then the third time as she processed what he had said, before her cheeks flared an alarming shade of crimson, she wasn't sure that she could go any redder than this. What did you just say? Stuttered Sona nervously, breaking the embrace. I want you to come. I know as heiress of House of Citri you'll be said Issei, but before he could finish, Sona tackled him in a tight embrace. I'll never miss it for anything, Ice-kun said Sona as she then did something that surprised everyone, especially Issei, she gave him a soft but gentle kiss on his left cheek. When Serafo saw this she was surprised at first like the rest, but that turned quickly to a smile, especially when Sona moved away and Issei began to blush red from what she had done. Serafo even giggled like a schoolgirl when she saw that her baby sister was now as red as a cherry from what she had done and had her head down trying to hide it. It seems that So-tan has a little crush on Issei thought Serafo as she giggled again and thought how cute the two would be if they got together. The office looked surprised for a moment then covered it with a perfect emotionless mask. Tiamat has a mischievous smile. Harumi and Kunu were now glaring daggers at them. The Fae was now a completely blushing mess. Valen and Kuroka were trying so hard to compose themselves, but still a little pink blush could be seen on their faces. Adults were equally surprised but then smiled. After that Issei and the others started to walk away as they did Serafo and Sona waved goodbye to them. I'll see you next time Sera-chan, So-chan be careful on your way home. Said Issei. See you next time Ice-chan said Serafo. Be careful on your way home too Ice-kun. As they are walking Serafo suddenly turned her head slightly and spoke to her little sister, should I start planning the wedding So-tan? One-sama. Cried an embarrassed Sona as her one-sama laughed at the young girl's bright red face. End of the here. So that's it for today's video guys, before you go just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.